I have found a hidden secret in the sun panel. No lie. I've been using Silhouette and my Cameo for years, and I had no idea that this feature was in the sun panel until today. I was going to hop right into the tutorial, make this a no frills, no fluff video, but I just surpassed 500 subscribers and I could not be more excited. So I need you to do a little happy dance with me first, and then we will get on it. To everyone that has subscribed or left me a kind comment, a thumbs up, whatever it was, I thank you, thank you, thank you. It means the world to me. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and click that button and keep crafting along with us as we grow this community together. Now we are going to go through the entire sun panel beginning to end, but there is seriously a hidden feature in there. I had no idea it was there. You're going to want to follow along because it's the last thing in the video. You're not going to want to miss it. So if everyone is ready, let's do this.
Okay, here we are in Silhouette Studio and we are going to go right to the sun panel. When you open up the sun panel, you have 4 choices here. You can cut simple, cut by line, cut by fill, or by layer. We're not going to talk too much about layer today because that is in Designer Edition or higher. But typically when you have a design on your mat and you open up the sun panel, everything will be lit up in red. And that is because that is Silhouette's default color for cut lines. You can see over here that cut is selected for the design. Now, if we select our design and choose no cut, then none of the cut lines are lit up and it will cut nothing on the mat. We can select cut edge, and there's no difference between cut and cut edge in this design. That's because it's text. But if we go back to the design tab for just a minute, we can bring on, let's move this out of the way for a second. We can bring this on to the mat. This is designed just like a sticker. I have my main design that would be printed in the middle, and then I have a red circle around the outline, and it is all grouped together. So now when we go to the sun panel, if this is set to cut, then my design that I want to print is going to cut out as well. But when we click on cut edge, only the outside edge is going to cut. If you're working with stickers, that's exactly what you want. Now let's go over to our materials. This is set to vinyl glossy. When you click the arrow, you have a whole drop-down menu of options. There's a ton of choices here. But at the bottom, you can see there is a user-defined area where you can add a new material type. When you click on this, you can type in the name of your new material, adjust your settings, and then click Save. And that will be stored in your user-defined area. I use Heat Transfer Smooth from HTV a lot, and I also use HTV Permanent a ton. So I have made special settings for those 2 materials, and they are stored right here for me. This is where you choose your function. What do you want your machine to do? There's auto cut, cut, and sketch. Now auto cut is because it's detecting my auto blade. You'll notice if we change this to cardstock, when you click on the function, you have more options. That's because you can't score or stipple or make a pop-out card out of vinyl, but you can in cardstock. Down here, it has detected my auto blade, but we can switch that up as well here. Can adjust your blade depth here, the number of passes, your force, speed, and this is where you turn on your overcut. This is used mainly for intricate designs, but what this does is it cuts each line out individually and goes past the beginning and end point of that line. So let's use this P as an example. If I had overcut turned on, it would come up past the start of this straight edge. It would cut all the way down, just a little bit past. It would lift the blade up. Then it would come over here and cut just past the beginning and end of this line, lift the blade up, and do the same for each and every corner. Now let's move on to cut by line. I'm going to move this off of my page and move this back on. Whoops. Let's undo that. Select these and group. Your design options are limited in the Send panel, but you can still do some basic things like selecting and grouping and ungrouping. Okay, now we are in Cut by Line. You can see here all of the colors that I have on my open page. Not all of these choices are on the design mat. Neither of these red colors are on the mat. Just the black and the pink are shown ready to cut. We can toggle these on and off here. And if we turn off the red, there is no difference because there's no red on the design mat. So we can turn off the black, and then only in Silhouette Studio is lit up because pink is the only color that is checked. For each color choice, you have your options over here again, and you can change them over here. However, if you want to change your blade depth and force and speed and all of those settings, you want to make sure that this box here matches whatever material you're wanting to change. So this is black. If I change these settings down here, if I change my blade depth, it's changing it for this heat transfer smooth material. It's not changing it for the heat transfer glitter. If I want to change the heat transfer glitter settings, then I would have to click on that box, and I could come down here and adjust these settings there. Let's pull this off for a moment and bring in this design here. Now this design has all of the same colors, but none of the cut lines are lit up. And that is because when I was designing, I left all of the cut lines set to red. And because I left all of the cut lines set to red, this reverts back to more like a simple cut. Just everything on here is going to cut under the line panel. At this point, I can go to the fill panel, and then I can cut by color again. It's just choosing the elements by fill color instead of line color, but pretty much everything else is the same. There is one last thing that I want to show you. I actually just learned this today and was completely amazed. I had never heard of this before. Let's zoom in a minute on Silhouette Studio here. You can see that Silhouette Studio appears to have been welded on the design mat. It was not welded, and I can still edit it. Now when we go to the Send panel, I'll show you how I did this. This button right here, this column is weld, and you can toggle this on and off with this little button here. Clicked it, you can see that now it is not welded, and all of these little extra cut lines are back in here. Click on that, and it's going to cut it just like it was welded in the design panel. And this comes in handy if you want it to cut properly, but you still want to be able to edit your text after you cut.
Did you know about the weld feature in the Sun panel? I honestly had no idea until today. I was going through some videos, making sure I was hitting all the points for my video, making sure I had all the information for you guys. I stumbled across it and I was like, whoa, that's cool. Anyway, I hope that you are going to get some use out of that feature. I know I will be using it. If you're looking for more information on the software itself, this is a good place to start. Otherwise, go create something amazing, and I will see you in the next video.